Like they're doing a low show, ladies and gentlemen. If you look up, you can see one of the guys up the aircraft. He's now trailing his smoke. And there he goes, it's the free fall. This is the first free fall group. 1, 2. So he's got the Union Jack flag. What he's going to be doing is coming towards the crowd line. And he's going to make his turn into the smoke you can see onto the ground. Let's give him a nice big cheer. 1, 2, 3, cheer. Well done, Southport, keep it going, keep clapping them in. The two flags that you can see there, we've got the Army flag and we've got the Union flag. These are 200 square foot. And he's down, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, here he goes. Well held, well done. Bringing the Army flag then is Sergeant Frank Millerick. Next we got Private Boatwright. Coming last in then is Corporal Eddie Rudd. He's got the little Union Jack. Give him a nice big cheer, ladies and gentlemen.
Firefly from a company called Slingsby. Really important to get the precision and timing absolutely right. Lovely big barrel roll there, as if you are flying around the outside of a large barrel. Plenty more of those sorts of things. A lot of business experience as well in aviation, Rod, and also spent 15 years with the CA. He can see very clearly. It's one of the benefits of this particular aircraft. Really good visibility. And also he doesn't really have to go very far to demonstrate it. In other words, he can operate in a very small area. Pioneering, there's quite a lot of that going on. Well, AutoGyro was the trade name for Sierra's aircraft, but nowadays they're just known as gyrocopters, gyroplanes, autogyros, or just gyros. And they were the very first rotary wing aircraft to fly successfully under full safe control. There's Simon Wade. It's got the use of the two-blade teetering seesaw rotor. It just reduces the complexity.
DJ's been really looking forward to this display, ladies and gentlemen, because obviously he gets to display in front of you, people he knows and he's grown up around. There he goes, ladies and gentlemen. He's regained his airspeed at the top of another quarter clover, 1,300 feet. Now serving in the Royal Air Force, and when not displaying, he is responsible for training qualified military pilots to become instructors on the Grob Tutor. In his spare time, DJ flies vintage airplanes, races powerboats, and drives classic cars. He also has a pension from Michelin. There are 15 university air squadrons across the UK, all linked to nearby universities. Students on the university air squadrons are taught to fly the Tutor by highly experienced military flying instructors like Gibbo, as well as flying a range of flies through. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, the 2022 Royal Air Force skill of the pilot, and of course the definition. There he is, upside down, and we'll talk a little bit more about how these various G's affect you. You know, you've heard the Typhoon guys talking about pulling 9G. Well, it's an awful lot of action. Here now, tumbling and rolling the aircraft as he gains a bit of height. And energy management is something that's also critical. That's all about making use, really, of the height and speed that you have in the aircraft. Now, this level inverted turn is pretty tricky, and he's got to keep that negative G on for quite some while before then pulling out. As I said, rarely going in a straight line. Several of the aircraft he built had pictures of skunk on them, and they were called stinkers in those days. Development of aerobatics with this particular aircraft. legacy of international teams, very popular in Britain in the 70s, but also with the national aerobatic team in the United States, who won the World Championships for these back in 1972. But all the various teams that we had, under the likes of Brian Lacombe and the Rothmans and everything, really outstanding performers. So Richard ties together throughout the course of this, you can see, multiple manoeuvres every second of his flying. Is it a plane? No, it's just Richard Goodwin flying his pit special. Really, really superb airmanship indeed. Fantastic. Then he lets it up into another series of rolling, tumbling maneuvers. And that is his tower of power. And it keeps going up and up as he rolls and rolls. Now using that power of the prop, going gyroscopic. Just literally, they say, hanging onto the prop, and that is what he's doing. And let it slip back now through his own smoke system. You'll see him emerge out of the bottom of that smoke very shortly. There he goes. Wherever you got hats, coats, umbrellas, ice creams, give Richard Goodwin a fantastic Southport wave as he completes his air show to open up properly this afternoon. It is aviation coming your way in the form of our first rotary machine today, the wonderful maritime attack helicopter, the Wildcat. The latest generation of multi-role helicopters specifically procured to operate from the frigates and destroyers of the Royal Navy. Yes, just imagine, you're not just doing this for a whole range of different threats at sea. Coming up now into a 270-degree wing over, and you can see how little sky this high-performing helicopter needs. What a stunning sight that is. Doesn't it take your breath away? It's like something... Fantastic, isn't it? Absolutely fantastic. I love it to bits. It's just so different, and I say, for me, it's a spooky thing. Helped commemorate RF 100 with and putting it through a lovely slow roll as we go through that, and just enjoys the classic jets as much as he does aircraft. It was really down to the handling skills of the pilot to make the most of the combat. We spent 11 days testing the MiG-15 in its infancy in those early days of jet fighters. Now, those of you who've seen this aircraft before a period of about 11 days decided that actually it wasn't a bad fighter after all, and compared reasonably well with the F-86 that was its competitor at the time. He flew the aircraft up to 0.98 Mach, but where it then became uncontrollable. In the outstanding MiG-15.
time into star formation. Leaders into star formation will depict the shining stars to demonstrate strong power of RoKAF. Please note that the loop maneuvers you have seen takes 40-year walk.
Spitfire, PZ-A65 Mark II-C Hurricane, and the Lancaster. The Battle of Britain Memorial Flight. Fabulous. Once again, our third Spitfire of the day. And what a magnificent sight that is indeed. You just... One of the classic fighters of all time, designed in 1937 to 111 Squadron at Northolt, just 8 months ahead of the first Spitfire delivery. Flown then by Group Captain Peter Townsend and achieved second place. But it was returned to wartime immeasurable. The mighty Lancaster. At a range speed of 200 miles an hour. Lovely underside pass now. One door's open. Huge aircraft this was, but also what a strong and immensely survivable aircraft it was. Didn't carry the weight of bombing load all on its own. Particularly good at higher altitude operations. So in 1942 onwards, the aircraft was transformed with the addition of the Rolls-Royce Merlin engines, which then harmonized alongside the development of the P-51B and Cs, initially going over the top of a bottle.
particular the red tail? Yeah, well, that has an interesting background to it as well, because these were not entirely successful at high altitude. Whilst performing okay at low altitude, they were a bit of a disappointing mixture until in 1942 the aircraft range was transformed with the fitting of the Rolls-Royce Merlin engine, which led to that familiar whine whistle you get there of the air going over the gun ports, just like blowing over the top of a bottle. A significant identifier of this aircraft, the range. This particular Mustang was built at North American's Inglewood facility in California, delivered to the United States Army Air Force in December 1944. Initially earmarked to service with the 8th Air Force in England, but changed short notice to but again, veteran pilots and veteran aircraft. The need to conserve, to keep life, and to keep these aircraft for future generations. 19 Spitfire from Rolls-Royce and the Mark 5B from the Polish Associated Squadrons from the historic aircraft collection. Mike 597. In September, both at Woodvale. Suffered some damage, this aircraft, early on, not from combat aircraft, but actually it was involved in a taxiing incident. Wonderful underbelly shot there. And Dave just came up and participated in Operation Crossbow, detecting the V1 and V2 Vengeance weapon launch sites. The Royal Air Force and the French Air Force went on exchange, joining Rolls-Royce in 2012. He's currently the Chief Pilot Defence and flies the Spitfire throughout the season. Memorial flight. To 2022. And today's fighter boys. chance to see turn here. You can imagine, really high speed, and now we're throwing high speed barrel roll. High angle of attack, high alpha, as we said, holding the nose right up, stick back in his chest.
They caught me by surprise, flying as a pair. Okay, here we go. We're right into the display now. Flying in line abreast formation, the pair are flying up into the vertical, performing the first loop of the display. In the center line. They will now pull up into the vertical to 1,000 feet, holding the aircraft pointing upwards with no forward speed, at which point they will stop completely before gravity wins and flips them on their backs. Sponsor for 2022, that is GS USA. You will see on the tails the red and white logos of our new sponsor. USA batteries are the #1 selling brand to the vertical in line abreast formation. Me on my toes today and do all sorts of different things. That was a tour roll. Okay. I'm back with This is Snake. Go! Maneuver of the display. This is the heart, and it is dedicated to our charity sponsor, the RAF Benevolent Fund. We've been working with the RAF. Blade 4 is now pulling up and performing a torque roll. He will also drop down and do some nice knife edge spins to finish this solo. Yeah, that's okay. Yeah, he's just put that one in the air. I don't think he wants to land, he's just having fun up there. Thank you very much for watching. It has been my pleasure. You have been watching The Blades. Thank you.
Really, when the success was founded by the Royal Air Force and they approved the early versions, the first 40 order a Mark III version of the JP really took off in ATA, the Royal Saudi Air Force aircraft. To have too many vulnerable hydronic systems on it. Involved in various operational deployments and multinational exercises. An ideal man for demonstrating this aircraft. Became a qualified flying instructor and flew. Coming in to the right now, his 30 as he's known, Ian Brett, flying the Stairmaster. To replace the Percival Roberts, the Christian engine aircraft that led to the development. Ian Brett's flying in today, got his roots in the Royal Air Force, like so many other display pilots. Just operating from just across the river from us here. So this aircraft is essentially a compact derivative of the Jet Bomber Mark V. Considerable export success all over the world, and including combat service during the Oman and Yemeni wars. A very tough aircraft, an armoured cockpit, and a single but robust, if somewhat noisy, I would say, Rolls-Royce Viper engine.
Southport, please put your hands together for the 2022 Royal Air Force Aerobatic team, the Red Arrows! As the formation rolls to the left, to the right hand side, you will see closest in is Red 2 Flight Lieutenant Stu Roberts. He's in his first year on the team, having previously flown Typhoon on 11 and 12 squadrons at RAF Coningsby. And his opposite number on the left hand side is Generation Fighter, is flown by the F617. This is the Lightning Loop. And its history, this is Lightning. On the far right hand side is Red 4 Squadron Leader John Bond, known as Bundy. Hello.
Billy, sit down.
The board call is made as Red 5 and 4 roll around the smoke of the rest of formation. Watch for the colour change as Red 1 brings the formation around to the right. As Reds 4 and 5 smoke blue and red respectively. Red 5 is Flight Lieutenant Dave Simmons. Known as Simo. Simo is a former Tornado pilot and also flown the Harrier and the F5 while on exchange with the United States Marine Corps. Offline with the air brakes out, which is the small door at the bottom of the aircraft. This allows the They change to the red, white and blue as they pull up and perform a series of barrel rolls in the sky, leaving a snake-like smoke trail in the sky in a manoeuvre we like to call the Python. As they bend round to the right, this is the helix. They will cross in the boomerang. Each aircraft now pulling up hard, pulling 5G. That means everything about them is now weighing 5 times heavier than what you and I are as we stand on the beach. Reaching a height of approximately 2,500 to 3,000 feet, they are inverted with 60 degrees nose down before they roll erect and back down to that 100 feet to complete the boomerang. That means everything about them now is weighing almost 5 times heavier than what you and I are as we stand on our beach now. Once again, Red 7 pulling hard to come around to make that close pass on Red 6 coming in from the left. For a barrel roll around Reds 4 and 5. Reds 4 and 5 smoke blue as they perform a barrel roll rounds 2 and 3 in one of the manoeuvres which is the hardest for our new pilots each year to master. This is the rollbacks. Smokes the red, white and blue rolling around the smoke of Red 6. Red 7 is Flight Lieutenant James Turner, DT. He's in his 3rd year on the team, having previously flown Typhoon as a former qualified flying instructor. Southport, give the synchro pair a massive round of applause. Once again, the synchro pair, keep your eye on them as they pull 5G as they're coming back towards us. Leading that is the synchro lead, squadron leader Gregor Ogston. He's in his 4th year on the team, having previously flown Harrier and Typhoon operationally, and is a former qualified flying instructor on the Hawk Mark II. He smokes the blue as he bends left, and if you look to your right front, you will see the Enid formation now forming an inverted V. Red 6 lining up. Get your cameras ready for the colourful double goose. A little bit right now. Each aircraft is fitted with a smoke pod. That smoke pod is K6. Get your cameras ready for the crowd favourite of the Synchro Heart. The Red Arrows stay. Tom Bold, Red 1, would like to dedicate today's heart to his parents, David and Jackie. Corporal Adam Fletcher, our photographer, would like to dedicate today's heart to his wife Lauren and his daughters Bella and Sophie. And I would also like to dedicate today's heart to my cousin Billy. The red comes on from Red 1 as he performs a series of barrel rolls around the smoke, making the infinity symbol in the infinity break. For Southport, it's been an absolute pleasure to perform for you today, but please put your hands together for the 2022 Royal Air Force Aerobatic team, the Red Arrows!